Woo! Yes. Woo! We are live and we are here. Yes. Hello. Hello to Shay Life Nation, TLN. This is Alma T, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm so excited that you are here. I have to be honest with you. I'm excited about what we have to talk about today because, we talk about all things life, and it's really, really personal. Um, for me. And remember, we overcame it by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So 'tis the season as we get to talking about some gift giving ideas from this not so perfect parent. But I know that it will truly bless you. So we're going to go ahead and get it in. Grab your pen, grab something, some piece of paper, whatever you want to write with, take notes because I know that God is going to move in a way that something will be said that will bless you in generations to come. Because we're talking about a gift that keeps on giving. We're talking about gifts that's going to last a lifetime. So let's go ahead and get into it. Get ready, grab your pen, and let's get into it. Welcome back to Tisha Life. And 'tis the season. You know, we talked a lot over Thanksgiving about, different ways we can give back and, recipes and fun ideas. And we know right after Thanksgiving, the day that everybody spends telling each other what we're grateful for, where it's Black Friday, which is one of the biggest shopping days of the year, right? So I want to tell you a little story. And there's nothing wrong with gift giving. Don't get me wrong. But I have a couple stories that I want to share. But first, I'm gonna tell this one, right? I want you to picture it. Um, Probably 2008, 2006, it's about 2006, 2007. Four children, married, working at the police department, mad overtime available, like mad overtime available. People were calling out. We were short staffed. It was like mad overtime available. So I signed up for overtime. I always sign up for overtime because we were coming up on the holidays. And all of a sudden, because I honestly had prayed. So, first couple times was great. October, we got like this bonus. First couple times of overtime was great. And I was working like, you're already on 12-hour shifts. So then we got to work in like 16-hour shifts. And you do that 2-3 days a week, you coming in on your days off. And so it became the joke of the station when I was constantly getting canceled. When I tell you I was constantly getting canceled, like literally, my homegirl, Regina Griffin, I will never forget her. She was so funny, so hysterical. She would call me and be like, "Yo, overtime got canceled." I'm like, "Again?" She's like, "Yeah." And I started like freaking out. I'm like, "Lord, come on now. I really want to do something big with the kids this year. Want to do something for my husband at the time big this year. Like, come on, this little extra pay. Like, what is it that you want from me? You say my gifts make room for me. I'm gifted as a dispatcher. So what's up?" God spoke to me and said, and this is not what all of this is about. So before you get like, "Oh, this is a whole religious," no, it's not. Trust me. Just trust the principle. I'm telling you, it's good. God spoke to me and said, "That's not how I want you to represent me, first of all, because you're dependent on the job and not me. And that's not how I want you to represent me." Clutch your pearls. Two, he said, in addition to representing me, you're not teaching your children the value of the holiday. You're not even teaching them value. Now, I had never really done that before, but almost everybody in the police department were like, it was a thing to get the newspaper in the Palm Beach Post. Keep in mind, you become like the 5 people you're around the most. We spend more time at work than we do anywhere else, so we have to be careful to guard, right? Everyone would get the Palm Beach Post, which was the major newspaper. You know, you get it. You save the sales papers every Sunday. You see all the good deals coming. And I'm like, okay, they balling, they doing their thing. Okay, I can do this. And God said, no, you won't represent me like that. And keep in mind, anything we put before the Lord to represent Him, to take His place, to depend on, is an idol. And guess what He does? He removes idols, right? So that happened. So I brought that up because it always tickled me because I couldn't even get mad. I couldn't even get mad. It got to the point where I'm telling you, it was like the joke. And the last time I signed up for overtime, I remember Regina and I laughed, and Regina said, "You want to sign up so you can get canceled?" I said, "Yeah, girl, put my name down so I can get canceled. You call me by Thursday, right?" She'd be like, "Yeah, I call you." I'd be like, "All right." But here's the deal: the overtime didn't come, and we still had an amazing Christmas. There was still presents under the tree, not that that's what it's all about. There was still joy and excitement. We still got up and went to church service. We still gave out dinners and did things for the less fortunate, which, we talked about that all last month, which is what I required. And life still went on. And there were still good days and not so good days throughout the years. And one day it came to me. And this isn't knocking the parents that are working and want to give their children something. That's not what it's about. But it's about having the right priority and focus on it. Because we have made Christmas, we as a whole, I'm always talk to the body of Christ first, but we as a whole have made Christmas so materialistic. That's why so many people that are anti-church, anti-Christian don't want to be bothered with it, because it is so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical. And I'm going to tell you, this isn't really noted. I have some notes, but these are really just talking because it's on me from the heart. And the enemy has done almost everything he can to keep me from doing a podcast for this week, but the devil is a liar. So let's just get into these gems. Let's just get into these now. So, first of all, many years ago, when I was 15 years old, my first job was at Rack Room Shoes. And I was working at Rack Room Shoes, and it was actually back to school time, which was a big time. Families come from Bahamas, Jamaica, the islands, all over. They shop America, they buy in bulk, and then they would go back. Now, this is before all this online shopping, right? And they would go back to where they were. And there was this one family I was helping, and you could tell that they were well off. They were stacking cash. You could just tell, right? And it wasn't a facade. Very poised, very classy. And I think they were Vans. They were Vans. And back then, Vans was a big thing. They were like $60 a pair, something like that. And they had two boys. And the mother was kind of doing things. Dad was on the phone, kind of chilling, letting mom handle that. And I remember one of the boys being upset because he got two pair of shoes. Each one got two pair of shoes. And I overheard her telling him, she was like, "Look, I'm only getting two pair of shoes. You know how it goes. These will start out the year, take you through the holidays, through Christmas, and then the other ones you can wear for the other half of the year. That's just the way it is." And he was like, "Well, why can't I just get another pair for Christmas?" You say, "Christmas, you're getting a trip to Europe." It was either Europe or Paris, but one of them, you get it. You're getting a trip to Europe. That's your Christmas present. And I remember looking at her, and I was like, I liked her flow. I like her style and all of that with her Fendi bag and everything. And so she said, "Girl, I don't play." Beautiful woman. She was absolutely gorgeous. Ivory colored skin, beautiful brunette hair. I mean, she looked like a model. She was gorgeous. And she said, "Girl, I don't play with them." I said, "So that's really how for Christmas?" She said, "Yes, listen." She said, "And if you ever have children, remember this." She said, "We don't give gifts for Christmas. The gifts are the experiences." She said, "The gifts are money in their stocks and in their investments. The gifts are trips to London." London, that's where it was. It was London. She said, "Trips to London. The gifts are exclusive, 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 exc sports events and, Super Bowls. She said experiences. She said because the experiences will stay with them longer than the gifts. And if we give them a gift, it's a gift that adds value. Wasn't that deep? That thing was so deep. I remember that thing. I was 15 years old. I am 45. That is 30 years ago. August will be 30 years ago because it was back to school. Ain't that thing deep? And so, with that being said, so often I see parents, even now, the hustle and the bustle. Christmas is coming. They're trying to find ways. They're door dashing and stacking cash and doing things. And even myself, I was tempted to start working so I could do these things, extra things for the kids. And I'm going to be very vulnerable and personal with you right now. I have been working to do those things, and that's what brought back this memory because there's so many special things I want to do for my children and my family. And right in the middle of it, transmission went on my car. After I have put over $1,000 in the vehicle in the last 6 weeks, now the entire transmission decided to say, "Wing dong, the witch is dead," just out of my blue. It has totally, for a minute, it was just like in my face. And it is a reminder to all of us. Now, life happens. It's not like God is the big bad God who says you can't have anything, but it allows you to put things in perspective. Just hear this. So many parents are sad, angry, depressed, feeling less than because they can't get their children gifts under the tree. And there's so much wrong with that. Not intentionally, but there's so much wrong with that. And we kind of want to talk about those things and talk about some great gifts that we can give to our children. When that happened with the car, I didn't say anything per se. I just made arrangements, lifting, doing what I needed to do with the kids. And my children got together and sent me a text, one group text. And I have it in my phone. And it was something to the context of, "Mom, don't get discouraged. You have not failed. We love you. Trust God. You've always told us all things work together for the good." They were quoting scriptures and, "Lo, he's with you always, even to the end." And it was just beautiful. And it brought tears to my eyes because I didn't say anything to them other than, "The car is down. Not happy right now. Got to work on some things, whatever, but don't worry." And they know me so well, they felt the frustration. So they sent me that text, and it is a keepsake for life. I might even print it out and put it up because through the struggles and hard times, my children and our children, they're going to remember what they caught in the environment in which they were in. More is caught than taught. And I'm going to say caught and taught because I would teach them that through life, those different lessons in life. And they've seen me get up. And I had a motto that I would always say, raising them. I said, I may not be able to get, especially when my two older ones were just very critical. Okay. And I had a motto that I would always say to me, and the Lord would always remind me of it. I may not have given you everything. But if I gave you Christ, wait, how did I say it? Wait, I want to get it right. I want to give it right. Oh, yeah. What was it? I may not can give you everything, but if I give you Jesus, I've given you the one that can give you everything. So that's the win. That was the win. Because my goal was always to teach them to look to him. Because if you look to me, I'm going to fail you. I'm not your God, even my children. Yes, I demand respect. I respect them. They respect me. When they can't respect me, that's a different issue. I give them room to not be in my presence to disrespect me because I don't want you causing damnation unto yourself, which is another thing we're going to talk about. But In doing that, if I can give you Jesus, I've given you the one that can give you everything. I've introduced you to someone. And if we just kept that philosophy, how often in work and in school and in time and in places and getting a new job, the first thing we say is, I know a man. Oh, I know somebody. Oh, you looking for that? Oh, I know somebody. I'll introduce you. And once I introduce you, you're in there, you know? And how much more with the Lord? So follow me on this. Just to prove a point, when my two oldest daughters left home, love them dearly, but you all know my story with my two babies that had their prodigal experience. When my two oldest daughters left home, there were a few ladies in our church. God bless them, love them. But there were a few ladies in our church that actually condoned some of their behavior. And in condoning the behavior, because I still would require at times them to, they were still underage. So if something's going on, if they're going somewhere, let me know. If something's happening, let me know. So this one young lady decided, well, they're with their dad, so I don't have to check in with her about anything. Da, 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 da. She made arrangements with the children to do their hair. She did their hair lovely, but she did not pay them. They did not pay her. And then when they did not pay her, she calls me and she says to me, hey, Shay, I just want to have a conversation with you and talk to you. Okay, yeah, what's going on? Well, I did the girl's hair and, they said we agreed on this and they said they were going to pay me. And I talked to their dad and they still hadn't paid me. And I wanted to bring that to your attention because that's just not the right thing to do. And I know how you raise them. I know your expectations. I listened. And then I went back to her and then after that, when she finished, I said, I'm going to share this with you as a sister in Christ. I said, you did not come to me because your words were, how I am, my standard and my expectations. Well, since you know that, you did not treat me like you knew me when you did their hair without my permission and you went to their father. And now that it did not go the way you planned, you want me to come to hold the responsibility. Well, since you know me so well, you understand that I will not be accountable for their wrong. I cannot do that because that is not a lesson. But I am grateful, and it's a witness unto God and to them that you know me. See, they came to you with that because they could not come to me with that. So I said all that to say this. People are watching, and how much more your children. They understand your standards. And to those parents who may feel a little less than or discouraged because the holidays don't look like they're going, I pray that you take something from what I'm saying and understand that the real gifts and the real value is in what you're teaching them day to day. That's the real gift and the real value. The real gift is that if they woke up with everything they wanted under that tree, would they still have the heart to say, that's not as important as how I treat somebody or my character or my integrity or how I carry myself or what I'm going to give to someone else? If they woke up and they had nothing under the tree, would it change their countenance? Are we teaching our children? Are we passing along that generational burden of making our children believe that their value is in what they get more so than what they give? Now, there's nothing wrong with gifts. I love gifts. It's not my love language, really, but I do love gifts. But another quote that I like to say, and I'll probably post it on some of my social media. Oftentimes in our generation, in many generations that have passed, we teach the cost of everything, but the value of nothing. When we have so many of our children that we will deck down in their Jordans, no shade on Jordan, love his documentary. That was my boy back when I could shoot 3 pointers. I'm just telling. But we can teach them about Jordans. They got to have 2, 3 pair. They got to have the flyest clothes. And there's nothing wrong with that because y'all know I'm adamant about the way you carry yourself. But understand the principle. They know all the latest clothes, all the latest items and gears and iPhones and techie stuff and everything, but they don't know the value of nothing. The value in it is how long can you keep it? How long can you take care of it? I was fussing at my children not so long ago because I'm like, look, there's a difference in cleaning and actually just pushing things to the side. When you push things to the side, you're not taking care of things. You're not wiping down, you're not appreciating the things that we have. And sometimes that's why we don't get any more. God doesn't allow any more to come to us because we're not appreciating what we have. You want every new shoe that comes along. And I've known people. I had a homeboy uh, who bought his children everything. Uh, he bought his children everything, and this is not, you know, putting anybody down, but it speaks to what many of us do. We give and we love the best we can. That's just true. We give and love the best we can. But my brother would buy them so many things, everything new, but would not give them the time of day. They could not read or write well, but they looked like they need to be on the magazine. That's not value. And my burning heart's desire is that this holiday season, this Christmas, when we're out and about, we're not going to kill ourselves to buy things that will not last. If anything, we're going to be intentional about giving gifts that last, giving experiences that last, giving opportunities that last. And those things are so big that they're bigger than the tree. They're bigger than anything that you can give, and they will be remembered longer than anything you can give. So, Proverbs 19:18 is a great scripture that I love. We often talk about Proverbs where it says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he would never depart, and all that. That's great. And yes, that's the word of God, and it's perfect. But we don't keep going far enough. What we say in Proverbs 19:18, the Lord says, discipline your child, for in that it is good, and that is his hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. From this not so perfect parent. I am grateful that of the challenges and the struggles that occurred in raising my children. It kept me humble. It kept most of them humble. And it kept most of them from an entitlement mentality. In this generation, we're dealing with a lot of people, children and adults, who have entitlement mentalities. You owe me. The world owes me. Everybody needs to look to me. I'm going to get it by any means necessary. I am in law enforcement. We have, in my 20 years of service off and on, had to make arrests based on the desperation of some who felt they had to steal, kill, and destroy to make the holidays happen. And I get it. I get it's the holiday season. And again, it's what we know. We do the best in what we know. and you want something to eat, or you want that outfit for your child, or you don't want your baby to be the only one not with something, or the only one not with, oh, sorry about that, that outfit. I get that. I so get that. But what is it that we really teach them when we show them to degrade themselves and others just to get it? It defeats the purpose. I hope you hear what I'm saying. So, according to even the Bible, we become a willing party to their death, to their destruction, to their demise. When we don't intervene and be the unpopular parent and hold them accountable for their actions, teach them the value of things instead of the cost and the entitlement thereof, and give them this, again, this entitlement that they deserve. They have to have this. We become a willing party of their destruction because they grow up that entitled kids become entitled adults. Ungrateful children become ungrateful adults. And we have to be willing to be unpopular, disliked because of it. Because it's not just the parents, it's not just the children a lot of times that will not be happy with you because you don't take the culture's role. You have many adults that will be upset with you because you do not take the culture's role. Another story. So children were young, and there was a birthday party with two other parents from the church for their children. And I brought my babies. And they started playing the music for the birthday party. Now, these are little girls. I'm talking, my baby Sarah, the baby girl might have been 8, 9. So the other ones might have been 10, 11, 12, and 13. They were in that range. Okay. No more than 14, no less than 9. And we're over there, and the music starts. And it's pop this, drop that, wine this, grind this. And this is a children's birthday party. And they were going to do a twerking contest. I immediately said, I'm sorry, but mine out. I answered for them. And then the other two parents, one didn't say anything. She just looked with disdain. And the other one's like, you don't let them have any fun. I said, there's nothing fun about degrading yourself, especially as children. They don't even know what grinding and all of it. They don't even know what they're doing or what that is or what that represents. And I wasn't very liked, and I wasn't very popular, and I wasn't very, talked about well after that, but I was very okay with it. Because in that moment, I wanted them to grow up, and they didn't understand it then, but hopefully they're understanding it now that they have children. I gave you the gift of being intentional with self-respect and dignity. You never allow yourself to be the source of anybody else's expectation. You never allow yourself to be the source of anybody else's entertainment, excuse me. And just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's okay. So that's one thing I wanted you to look at in this holiday season, because even though it's just the first week of December, I see parents, I hear conversations, and I get it. Like, I so get it. Wanting to do so much for their kids, wanting to make this a special Christmas. But understand that Christmas and giving is something we should be accustomed and should get accustomed to doing daily. They shouldn't just be excited and expectant during Christmas and birthdays. They should be excited. Another gift should just be a thought, or should just be almost random. You might say that, no, you don't know my story. You don't know what I go through. I don't make money like that. Well, it's not the money. That's part of the mindset. That's part of the problem. because we've created this expectancy, this entitlement. And that is what the prayer is to break, for us to think a new thought. Because nowhere is it written that at Christmas they have to get gifts. If we're just gonna get real down and just real, and just, I mean, can we talk? Can we talk honestly? For those who I love, that was my first talk show with 3 co-hosts. But can we talk honestly? Let's just be real. If we really want to look at Christmas, the Christmas story, they brought gifts to the king because of who he was, who he is, who he would be throughout eternity, and all he would do. They brought gifts to him. So technically, when it comes to Christmas, the gift shouldn't be coming to us because we're not the king. Technically, the gift should be all that we have, and we should be willing to give them to the Father. He gave us the gift of singing. I'm talking to myself, this not so perfect parent, we should be giving it back to him. He gave us the gift of talking, the gift of speaking, writing, give it back to him. What can we bring? And that's going farther into my gift giving notes, but what can we bring him? Now, if we really want to talk about Christmas is not about what we get. It's about what we have through him and how we're bringing back gifts to him, if we really want to get technical. But I understand it's nice to give gifts during the holidays and spend Christmas together and put up the tree, and what gifts can we give each other? I do understand that. But do not be willing to put yourself in debt, in bondage, in shame to do it. Don't do it. I'm encouraging you not to do it, because what good is a gift that you give with guilt? What good is a gift or gifts we give and we're left with guilt and shame? There's something in our mindset that has to change. That's a lack mentality. And it's not fair. There are people, Christmas Day, like 1985, we woke up on Christmas at my grandmother's house, and go-karts were just coming out and really big. And it was my cousin Rod, who is now deceased, his best friend at the time, best childhood friend guy, had just gotten a go-kart. He was like the only one in the neighborhood with a motorized go-kart, right? And he was flying in the car, careless, might have been 12 years old, because I was about 5 or 6, so they had to be 12, 13. Lost control, go-kart, killed instantly. I never forgot that. My cousin never did, up until he passed away either in 2013. But my point is, there are people, their gifts would just be to see and be with their loved ones again. And I'm not talking about the loved ones that done lived to be 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. They lived their life. We miss them. We respect them. We appreciate them. I love them. I love my daddy died at 90 and all of that. I get it. We're going to miss them. But those who have lost children, those who have lost those ones that didn't make sense at that age, the gift of life, you understand? And we're stressing ourselves out to give materialistic gifts that many times they do not remember. They're only going to play with for a certain amount of time. Many times they're broken and damaged, and then we do it to pay it off, to do it all over again at the end of the year. That cycle has to be broken. Let's talk about season. Let's talk about some real gifts. Okay. Let's talk about gifts for the season that can actually last a lifetime. And no matter what season of life they're in, because life has seasons, these gifts are going to keep on giving. Can we do that? Okay. So let's talk about time. Seriously, that sounds so cliche, and it's so whatever. Listen, remember my friend I told you gave his children everything, but very little time. There was a sign at our church in Florida years ago. They put up on the marquee when you pass by the street, and it says, "Your children want your presence, SENCE, more than presents, PRESENTS." Let that soak. I am so tickled when my children would text me, even tonight, and my one of my kids was like, "You work late tonight?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Yay." That's one of my adult kids, just to be home. And when you're home, a lot of times they're in the room, they're on the game, they're on the phone, they're doing the other things, but it's just the fact you're there. You know, what if one of the gifts you gave your children and your family this Christmas was just uninterrupted quality time? And that's something that I'm still learning and struggling with, um, to talk to them and be present. What if the present was your presence? Like, I'm learning, and I've been learning off and on over the years, and I'm getting better. Like, I turn my phone on silent when I'm talking to them to know that they're important. I mean, they know they're important, but you know what I mean? Like, to put all the attention on them. I want to give them the gift of time, because time is not promised. My mom died when I was 14. I told y'all that. My mom died when I was 14. And at 14, that seemed like, oh my God, that's such a long time. At 45, not having a mother for 30 years is not that is that's a long time to not have a mommy. She has not been here physically for all of the monumental activities in my life: proms, marriage, graduations, divorce, childbirths. Like, yo, she has not been here for that. And sometimes, especially years ago when it was fresh and I was raising my kids, I was like, if I could just have one more conversation, one more, just one more time, to hear her walk through the house, one more, you know. And then, like we talked about last week, technically we only have 18 real, official, kind of given to us birthdays and Christmases, and with the kids technically. Because once they're 18, if they go off to college, they do their thing, they get married, they start their own family thing. So technically you only have 18. What are you going to do with that 18? And unfortunately, some don't get to the 18. Some stay longer than the 18, but let's just keep it, in that context. What if you gave the gift of time? What if one of the gifts you gave your children was uninterrupted family time with you? You may have it, and if you do, kudos. But let me tell you, there are quite a few people that don't. Another thing, what if you gave the gift of complimenting their character? Listen, and I'm not saying don't get any gifts. I'm saying, what if we put more emphasis on these priceless gifts? So I learned a long time ago, and I don't say this haughtily, but I have some beautiful, physically beautiful children. I mean, we all do, but I'm just saying my children were often complimented because of their long hair or their complexion. Their dad had a nice reddish Indian complexion and all this hair. And being that I modeled and things like that, I would have to teach them. And I was intentional on teaching them, listen, I love, yes, you are beautiful. Yes, you are handsome. Yes, you are strong. Yes, you are um, uh, uh, beautiful shape, beautiful voice, beautiful at this and all of that, beautiful hair, all those things, beautiful eyes, all that's great and good. But I made it intentional to tell them, but you know what? You have a beautiful heart. I love the way that you give to people. I love the way that you see the homeless. I love the way that you love to spend time with your children. I love, those character traits. Because here's the deal, you're going to have to do more in life than be pretty. And that's one thing my mama taught me from a child. She said, Shay, you can make straight A's and you can be the prettiest girl in the world, but your disposition and character will carry you further than anything else in life. She preached that till she died. Your disposition and character will carry you further than anything in life. And that stuck with me. Because no matter what I did, or the compliments or the achievements that God has graced me with throughout the year, it's the compliment of, you're very professional. I like the way you carry yourself. They might say you're so pretty, you're so put together and all that there, but the compliments have come from being professional, well spoken, kindness to others. Those were the compliments. My disposition and my character were the compliments that when they came back and when I found favor, they came through that. As much as we speak to the physical characteristics of our children, let the gifts start coming in where we speak to the character of our children, not just the physical characteristics, but the character. And when the character doesn't line up, let us be bold enough and even be willing to be unpopular enough to speak to, that thing you're doing right there, that character, that's not the character of a good man. That's not the character of a good woman. That's not the character of a loving girlfriend. That's not the character of a loving friend. That's just not the character of it. Yeah, you cute. I like your outfit. But the way you did your friend, the way you said that ain't right. That ain't right. That ain't gonna get out with that. And that's not right. And you're gonna see it again. This gift for the season that lasts a lifetime, teaching them how to treat others. Teaching them how to give the gift of time, and giving them, like my girlfriend said, whoever that woman was in Rat Room Shoes back in 1995, like she said, giving them experiences. What is an experience that you can do with your children or your family or your boo or your bae that you have never done before? What if this Christmas, because we're kind of already here, so what if this Christmas, maybe you went to a different Christmas yard or did a movie day, or you looked up different traditions from other countries? Because I told you one thing we're going to do here for Christmas is that we're doing a cultural Christmas. I'm pretty good at cooking by the grace of God. And so instead of cooking what we always cook, we're going to pick each child's favorite spot and we're going to do a dish from that spot. So one of them likes Japan. So I'm planning on making a matcha cheesecake. One of them likes something else, and they're going to participate too and do their things because it's about an experience. It's when we die as parents or grandparents or loved ones and we go on, what are the memories that people can say about you? I can literally sit here and say, my biological grandmother died in 2022, the year I left Florida. And I am honestly here to tell you, and this will be more in my bio, but she gave away her girls, kept her boys. She was not a very nice person. She was nice to who she wanted to be nice to, but she was just, I saw her be very rude, cruel, and critical to my biological mom. And she gave them away unapologetically and was just mean to my mom. My aunt wasn't around enough for her to be mean, but she was really mean to my mom. But anyway, when she died, right? She lived to be, I guess, in her 80s, whatever. When she died, so I had my grandmother that raised my mom, and I had my biological grandma. When my grandma named Alma, who I'm named after, that's my road. Oh, that's my ride or die. Like you'll see her picture everywhere. Literally, when grandma died, people couldn't say enough about her. She wasn't perfect. She was mean. She had a mouth, but she was good. Like she she was Aunt Sugar. She was Mama. She made everybody laugh. If you was wrong, she might cuss you out, but she gonna get it done. Like she was the baby of the eight, but the older one would come to the baby because everybody knew the baby was gonna handle business. She worked. She was well spoken of at her funeral. When my biological grandmother died, Christine, there was a few people that spoke about her, and she could make great chocolate chip cookies. She was cool with the boys in the neighborhood who played with her sons, because remember, she gave away her girls, so she was cool with the boys who played with her sons. But not one person in a 2-hour service spoke about her being a mother. Not one person in a 2-hour funeral spoke about loving, kind, compassionate, good mother, because she still had 3 boys there at the time and a brother. Not one person mentioned loving. When you think about the gifts that you want to really give your children this holiday season and every holiday season going forward, you think about those gifts that are going to last, and that even on your deathbed, they will have more to remember about you than the material things you gave them, the meaningless material things you gave them. Because I'm a person, you can take a material thing and make it even more meaningful. I'm not saying things don't matter. My daddy bought me a suit. It was the last suit he bought me before he died. That was very meaningful, intentional. I'm not saying gifts are bad, and I pray you're picking up what I'm putting down. But just to make it about the gifts is not beneficial to you or them. If you're going to give a meaningful gift, my late boyfriend, who passed before we got here, one thing I bought him when we actually did start buying each other gifts, when we started dating, he was maturing, right? And I was like, we are not doing the basketball shorts and tanks and all that for night clothes. You need some night clothes, or you need something to robe. And so I got him a blue velvet robe and had his initials engraved in them in gold with matching slides, because it was personal. So that's a gift that keeps on giving. And he remembered it. And it was personal. So what gifts can you give, and what experiences can you give that were personal? Okay. An experience might be, during the hurricanes. I think I told you before already, during the hurricanes, my kids and I literally painted. I went and got to the Dollar Tree, and we sat down and we did some painting. We've done it before, but not really, since we've been in Georgia. And we just painted and had fun, like it was weird and it was fun, but we did it. What are some experiences that you can make your family's experiences this Christmas season? Be willing to be unpopular to make a difference. So let's say, are you raising children with the legacy of a materialistic Christmas? I want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you raising children and continuing the legacy of a materialistic Christian? A materialistic Christmas, I'm sorry. Ask yourself that. And I already told you my personal testimony about the car. And if your children only had one gift under the tree, what would they say, feel, think, or do? If they only had one present under the tree and they deem you negatively or themselves unworthy, would you be willing to shift the paradigm and shift the culture of your family to being able to allow them to see the value of gift giving every day and giving every day. That it's not just about Christmas. So this Christmas season, as we get started on this not so perfect parent season, because this is actually a series of talking about different parenting and parenting during the season, I thought, what better time to do it than Christmas when everybody's focused on Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, right? That's what the Lord gave me. And so, again, they bought gifts to the king. And all our getting and shopping, and I'm not saying I'm not going to get any gifts and put up the Christmas tree and all that. I'm excited about it, doing something fun and watching them open it and great, but that won't be the purpose of it. And I don't want them to only look forward to Christmas to get the gifts. But in all of that, what gifts do you have and you possess that you can give back to the king? 6 gifts I gave back intentionally that I felt would last a lifetime is I gave the Lord back my children. I gave him back to them to do what he wanted to do with them. If you sing, if you write, if you dance, if you do spoken word, whatever you do, what can you give back to him this Christmas season? And all your gifts that you're giving, what are some gifts that you're willing to give out, give to each other, give to your brothers and sisters, give to the homeless? Do you have clothes you want to give? What can you gift this season? What will make your heart smile? Those are truly the gifts that will last a lifetime. So I trust and pray that this will lead and fall with whoever it needs to lead and fall to, and that you will be blessed by it. And there was something that was said that will minister and inspire you, if not for you, for someone else. Because we're conduits, not containers. We're not supposed to hold it. So I pray you have an incredible night. Get ready for next week when we talk about some serious parenting. Be willing to be unpopular, add value, not just cost. Make memories this Christmas. Have an amazing rest of the night. I love you like a lot, like a really, 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 really lot. Good night.
A safe but unapologetic place to dismantle every lie believed and live in every truth available.